Hello everyone, Moonrider here, and this sleek, futuristic looking keyboard is the K673 PRO from Redragon. It offers gasket mounts, fully programmable RGB, 3 different connection modes including wireless, and hot swappability. All this and more is available on Amazon and RedDragonShop.com for $64.99. Now let's kick things off by unboxing this keyboard to see what's all included. This is the outer packaging for the K673, popping with color and contrast, and it even lists key features. But flipping open the side flap reveals another box. This one is far less style and flair compared to the outer box, but it is still adorned with the Redragon logo versus the usual bright red seen everywhere else. Inside this box is the K673 keyboard, as well as some expected accessories. For starters, you get this 5-foot or 1.5 meter USB-C to USB-C power cable. It does come with this convenient USB-A adapter attached, as well as a 90-degree connector opposite the adapter to plug into the keyboard's side-mounted USB port. You also get a dual-purpose keycap and switch puller, a few extra red switches, the user manual, a sheet of Redragon branded stickers, and most importantly, the keyboard, which is almost entirely covered in protective film. After removing said protective film from the edge and back, this is what you see. The K673 looks right out of Spaceballs with its bold, futuristic design, its glossy black and white frame, and black and white keycaps in futuristic font. The K673 is pretty compact as a 75% keyboard. It measures in at 13 inches by 5.5 inches and still manages to squeeze in 81 keys, including dedicated function keys at the top, each with their own additional shortcut assignments such as a calculator, email, and media controls. 3 indicator lights can be found toward the right side of the keyboard. These serve as indicators for caps lock, 2.4G and Bluetooth connectivity, and battery level, but more on those later in the video. Also topside is the one knob control. With this, you can quickly and easily adjust audio volume by turning clockwise and counterclockwise, or mute altogether by pressing down. Or long press for 3 seconds to switch to RGB control, where you can adjust the backlight brightness by turning the knob clockwise or counterclockwise, or cycle through different RGB patterns at the press of the dial. On the right side is where you'll find the 2.4G USB receiver tucked in its storage slot. The back is completely flush as the charge port has been moved to the left side next to the wireless connection slider, hence the 90-degree connector on the power cable. Lastly, on the bottom you'll find 2 sets of kickstand feet allowing for 3 different height levels based on your preference. When laying flat, the K673 has 4 rubber bumpers to provide stability. Now that we've covered the design and layout, let's get it connected. The K673 PRO offers 3-mode connection in the forms of wired USB-C, Bluetooth 3.0 and 5.0, and 2.4 GHz wireless. Let's start with the simplest, which is wired USB-C. Plug the straight connector into any USB-A port on your PC, and the 90-degree connector into the USB-C port on the left side of the keyboard. Is Bluetooth 3.0 and 5.0, and connecting via this method has some prerequisites, such as either having built-in Bluetooth on your motherboard, or you need a USB Bluetooth dongle. Slide the 3-mode connection switch to BT. Press function +1 and the LED marked M will flash blue. Scan for Bluetooth devices on your computer and choose either BT 3.0 keyboard or BT 5.0 keyboard. Once connected, the LED will change to static. While connected to your computer, you can simultaneously connect 2 other devices, such as a mobile device and tablet, and easily switch between these devices at the push of a button. To do this, press function +2 and the LED marked M will flash cyan, or press function +3 and the LED will flash magenta. Repeat the step to scan for Bluetooth devices. When all your devices are connected, switch between them by pressing function +1, 2, or 3. If your motherboard doesn't have built-in Bluetooth and you don't want to deal with purchasing a Bluetooth dongle, no worries. You can still connect wirelessly via the 2.4 GHz option. To begin this connection process, slide the 3-mode connection switch to 2.4G, then reach for that USB receiver sticking out just a bit on the right side of the keyboard. Once you see the LED marked M flashing yellow, you have 20 seconds to plug that USB receiver into any USB-A port on your computer. Once the receiver and the keyboard connect, that yellow LED will become static. Now that the keyboard is connected, let's talk keycaps and switches. I really like the white and black contrast of keycaps on this board, and the lettering on them, while very futuristic looking, is still very clear and legible. Even the secondary function icons are clearly illustrated. The keycaps feel great too. They're made from PBT plastic and have some anti-sweat stain properties for keeping the keycaps looking cleaner for longer. Switches are 3-pin linear reds produced by Outemu, but the sockets allow for any 3 or 5-pin switch substitution. For those of you interested in the specific numbers, these have a 40-gram actuation force, 2mm actuation point, and 4mm total travel distance. The K673 Pro uses gasket mounts and 2 sound absorbing pads to make this board super quiet. Both pads are 3.5mm thick, and the first one, made of foam, sits between the positioning plate and the PCB to absorb sound resonance between the metals and reduce the cavity's noise. The second plate is actually silicone, and it sits between the PCB and the bottom of the case to reduce 90% of hollow sound and add 10% extra noise dampening. Gaskets are made from thermoplastic rubber and give the K673 Pro a softer sound and feel. Have a listen for yourself. This sound test is being recorded using an XLR microphone. Now let's move on to RGB, as the K673 Pro showcases a super bright and vibrant display of color here. I'm not usually a fan of rainbow RGB, but on this keyboard I really love it. Just the way the colors blend into each other is so smooth, and all the colors maintain a rich tone across the spectrum. Pattern, speed, and brightness can all be controlled on a more basic level with either keys or the one knob control, as I explained earlier. Brightness is controlled with function plus up and down arrow keys, and pattern speed is controlled with function plus left and right arrow keys. To cycle through the different patterns, press function plus insert. The K673 also allows you to change the colors of certain patterns, which you can do with function plus enter key. Of course, if you want more control over RGB, Redragon's free software is the way to go, and you can download it right from redragonshop.com. Once you're on their site, click software, and then you can either scroll down through their keywords or type K673 into the search bar. Click on the keyboard, and when this prompt opens, click on software and follow your computer's install instructions from there. There's a surprising amount of features in this software. The top left slider icon takes you to general info and basically settings, where you can adjust sleep mode from anywhere from as low as 30 seconds to as high as 20 minutes. Back on the main menu on the left, the keyboard icon takes you to a key assignment tab, and below that, the light bulb icon takes you to RGB control. On the left side is the different light effects you can choose from. Only one of these allows for custom RGB key assignments, and that effect is self-defined. In this effect, you choose your desired color either from one of these boxes, the color picker or color wheel. Colors are assigned individually by clicking on your desired key once to remove the previous color, and clicking again to assign the new one. Or to assign your desired color across multiple keys, simply click and drag across. Be sure to apply your selections by clicking on the floppy disk icon on the right. Another cool feature lies in here. What's cool about it is sound is picked up wirelessly through the software, not a microphone on the keyboard, so it's not triggered by your voice or the sound from its own switches clicking. There are several effects to choose from, but my favorite is audio dance. Gain factor alters sensitivity to sound, and adjusting smoothness changes the incoming and outgoing light fade from abrupt to gentler. For a solid reactive color, uncheck color full. A few downsides to rhythm mode is it only works as long as the program is running. I also experienced a bit of key lag while this effect was running, especially in games. So while rhythm mode is a very cool feature, it does have some drawbacks. Now, since we've been talking about a wireless keyboard with RGB, let's talk battery power, because the K673 has a whopping 3000 mAh battery. In a promotional video on their site, they claim continuously use a week with RGB on. Battery life is easy to check. You can either reference the battery LED, which lights up green, cyan, blue, purple, and red, or function plus alt-right to check battery life with the number keys. This method is simpler to read, as each number of 1 through 0 represents 10%. This example shows my battery is still above 90%. Of course, the K673 Pro has 2 power saving modes as well. The first, called power saving mode, and the second, sleep mode. Power saving mode simply shuts off the RGB after the keyboard is idle for 3 minutes. Bluetooth and 2.4G connections are still active. To turn RGB back on, simply press a key. Sleep mode, however, by default is programmed to turn off RGB and disconnect wireless connections after 30 minutes of inactivity, effectively powering down the entire keyboard until you press a key. However, we learned this idle time can be adjusted by using Redragon software. So that's the Redragon K673 Pro. I hope I've covered all the bases on this keyboard, but if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. And also give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel for more gaming setup content and tech reviews like this. Thanks for watching.